How much range is too much range? It's a very stupid question because we all know that you can never have enough range. I've always put a lot of range on my melee weapons. I'm a big fan of having a lot of range, and whenever there was an outlier that could get more range than everything else, I would always try to push it as far as I could. I did it with the Orthos, the Guandao, the Inodem, and even a bunch of whips because they have a lot of range on their slide attacks. So of course I ended up doing it with the Incarnon Bow Prime as well. Now, I was unfortunately not able to get a Riven for the Bow Prime, which is a shame because the disposition on it is quite high, so you could actually get a lot of extra range from that, but at least this way everyone can copy the boat and use it themselves. So how much range do we actually have here? Well, it's probably in the title, but it's 12.5 meters. Now, just to give you an idea of how much range that actually is, I have Helena, the heavy gunner here. She's German, to show you how much range 12 meters actually is, because it is quite a lot. Like, this is the range at which we hit enemies. That's a big stick. The way we do this is we get 0.5 meters from what I can reach, we get 4 extra meters in Incarnon mode from the Incarnon buff, then we get 2 extra meters from Spring-Loaded Blade once we've procced 2 status effects, and 3 extra meters from Primed Reach. This on top of the base 3 meters of range on the Bow Prime, because the Bow Prime actually has decent range to begin with, gives us a grand total of 12.5 meters of range. Though we could push this up to 14.5 meters with Motus Impact, but that's only for aerial attacks, so that's kinda meh. The best thing about this though is this is not a meme build that sacrifices everything else to get more range. This is still a functional build that will do Steel Path. We achieve this by simply offloading vital damage onto our companion. It feels a bit strange to be hitting enemies that are this far away. I mean, this has better effective range than most shotguns in the game. And if you're gonna do this, I would highly recommend you tone down the damage numbers or you use the old damage numbers, because you're gonna be hitting an awful lot of enemies at once, so your screen is just gonna be covered in numbers. Now, while the damage is pretty great, it's definitely not amazing. There are much stronger melee weapons out there, but there are none that have as much range as this. Though with that said, I'm only using a basic smite mod, I'm not using a primed smite mod. Also, since most of the weapon's damage is impact, there's only a little bit of puncture in there, you're gonna max out impact procs almost instantly. That actually ends up being a really good thing, because not only does the impact help bash through Corpus shields very effectively, it also opens up enemies to Parazon finishers, because the health threshold at which you can do a Parazon finisher on an enemy gets pushed higher and higher with every impact proc. So when it comes to big beefy enemies, specifically Eximus units in Steel Path, all you really need to do is take down their overguard. When you get used to doing that, you can push the weapon much deeper into Steel Path. So yeah, the damage is very much not bad. The best thing about this though is that you're just hitting so many enemies at once, you're proccing slash on everything that's within 12 meters of you. Because Flailing Branch, one of the stances for staves, is, as the name would suggest, rather flaily, so you're not just hitting in front of you, you're also hitting things that are to the side of you and even behind you. It even does decent damage to Acolytes despite them being status resistant, so they can only have 4 slash procs sticking on them at any given time. So I would very much recommend you try this out. I already recommended the Incarnon Bow Prime in yesterday's video, which is kind of like a general review. But after testing this out and playing around with it, I would highly recommend you try out the max range setup as well. And maybe, just maybe, if you already have a bow riven or you're willing to buy one for a lot of platinum, because for whatever reason bow rivens are very expensive, don't know why, you can try and add even more range to it via the riven, though make sure you get at least one extra stat that is going to replace one of the mods, right? So you get damage and range to replace Prime Pressure Point, or you get damage and attack speed to replace Berserker Fury. That kind of stuff. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I would like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support. And if you would like to become a channel member as well, by the way, you can check out the memberships and stuff down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.